Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Jager from Platonic Noobs here today with a very special episode. Today I wanted to show you guys 3 of my top favorite free games to play that you can get on Steam. There's some good contenders on here, so I'm just going to get straight down to it. Hope you enjoy the video. Heroes and Generals. This game is the ultimate World War II simulator in my opinion. It offers a huge variety to its players. Who do you want to fight as? Infantry, paratrooper, tank crewman, fighter pilot, sniper, or even as a general commanding divisions across Europe? While the game might not fully master any one style of play, it still offers them all for both the United States and for Germany, with the possibility of more countries in the future. As of July 11th, 2014, this game was released pre-beta on Steam, and yes, it is free. It, like all the other games on this list today, are supported in large by microtransactions. Now if this disturbs you, it shouldn't. Earn your fucking guns. If you don't want to pay, don't whine about other people buying their shit. Anyways, back to Heroes and Generals. The maps are fun in my opinion, well made for the most part. The levels have to keep in mind that they have to be made for both infantry and tanks rolling around, and they need areas for both to stretch their legs. Open fields, rolling hills, and curving dirt roads will be a heaven for tanks trying to outflank each other or just trying to bust a hole in the infantry line. Large street battles in towns and close-quarter combat in the factory district will keep the infantry happy and usually away from the armor. Now there are some levels that tend to favor one play style or the other, but in general it all works out in the end. Combat can be a bit frustrating at first, but as you get the hang of it, you will be pulling off headshots no problem. But if you suck at aiming like I do, go ahead and get yourself that shiny new submachine gun. Or even better, that much bigger light machine gun like the German MG42. That thing is awesome. Overall, Heroes and Generals satisfies my craving for a good World War II shooter with all the factors needed to simulate a battlefield during that time period. I especially enjoy playing as the paratrooper and tank crewman classes. However, despite its many upsides, it does have a few down. The graphics and art style are nothing special. There are some network issues with server lag and rubber banding. If you want new gear without paying, you will have to do a lot of grinding that gets old fast. In general though, despite the beauty of the idea the game presents, it does become rather droll after a few matches. The maps do get repetitive and I wish they had a couple more factions. Perhaps the British and Russians, or even the Italians. My overall score for Heroes and Generals is 7. For World War II shooter enthusiasts, it is a must-have. For everyone else, check out a few videos and see if it's the right game for you. The second game on my list today is Nosgoth. Nosgoth is a free-to-play multiplayer action-adventure game. The game is a PvP game with 2 teams fighting 2 matches. The most kills between those 2 matches wins. It's the 2 factions that you play as that make this game stand out though. On one hand, you have the vampire clans. Some are sneaky and others are just brutally tough. For example, the footage you see is of me playing as the Tyrant class, the tank equivalent for the vampires. The vampires rely on their mobility and special attacks to kill the other faction. You can climb buildings and jump gaps between rooftops. To revive lost health, the vampires can eat fallen humans. Each vampire class has a special ability for closing the distance further, such as the Tyrant for example. I can charge into them, knocking down anyone I hit, providing me with chance to use my special abilities. The other faction is the humans. The rivals of the vampires are a very different faction in regards to playstyle. They rely heavily on ranged attacks rather than melee combat. They are armed with bows, crossbows, and even pistols. They cannot climb buildings, however, and are forced to run on the ground levels, trying to keep the vampires at bay while staying close to ammunition and health stations. They are the trickier of the 2 factions to master and take some practice to get used to. Generally, the humans are the ones being hunted. They must use teamwork to fight back the vampires, along with their special abilities and their ranged weaponry. This game is addictive, intense, and brutal. As the humans, you are always watching out for that vampire ambush from the rooftops and trying to keep you and your team alive. As the vampires, you find yourself stalking the humans and trying to use teamwork to attack the humans when they are most vulnerable. The game has some beautiful art, but perhaps not next-generation graphics. The maps are fun and well made, providing areas for the humans to make their stand and other areas for vampires to perform ambushes. However, there are not very many maps as the game is still new. The faction seems slightly off balance in favor of the vampires. However, to combat this during a match, you have to play once as the humans, then again as the vampires. This generally irons out the issues that are sometimes very frustrating for the humans. The classes are fun and have a lot of variety to them, but they don't feel 100% fleshed out as of yet. While still in beta, this game is fun and free. My final verdict is 7.5. If you want something new to spice up your gaming life, you should seriously check this game out. And the last game on our list today is Planetside 2. Planetside 2 is a game of epic proportions. You play as one of 3 factions battling out over 4 continents. When I say this game has epic proportions, I mean it. Not long ago, Planetside 2 set the Guinness World Record for the biggest first-person shooter battle with 1,158 players in a single battle. That is just how epic this game is. The world is persistently at war. Literally, a never-ending battle between the 3 factions is being waged at all times, 24/7. The game offers you the ability to play as a multitude of highly fleshed out and fun classes. You can play as the highly mobile light infantry with jetpacks, the heavy infantry with shields and rocket launchers, the medic able to heal and revive fallen comrades, the engineer able to repair vehicles and deploy turrets, the sniper with its ability to cloak itself and its ability to use the sniper rifles of the game, and finally the mech suit called the Max, wielding 2 weapons with your choices of anti-armor, anti-air, and anti-infantry, or you can mix and match to be able to take on 2. The fun doesn't stop there though. In order to better get around the world and to make this war so fun are the vehicles. Everything from tanks, bombers, fighter jets, troop transports, and quad bikes, and much, much more. You have the ability to customize not only your infantry but also your vehicles with different armors, camos, weapons, and special abilities. Of all the games I've mentioned thus far, Planetside 2 does have the steepest learning curve, but once you get past that, the game is a lot of fun and very addictive. I highly suggest you play tactically with a squad or even a platoon. If you really get into the game, you have the option to join an outfit, which is basically a Planetside 2 clan. This will enable you to coordinate your attacks and work as a team. The final verdict for Planetside 2 is epic. Words cannot describe how cool it is to see a battle where literally hundreds of players are fighting it out over some capture points. Infantry pushing into a citadel while armor keeps back reinforcements and the jets bomb the enemy positions and dogfights are happening overhead. They really did perfect the massive battle atmosphere. It's just so much at once it can be a little overwhelming at times. Furthermore, the classes and vehicles are all well balanced and just plain fucking fun to play. The game is not perfect though. The storyline is weak with little backstory as to why the 3 factions are fighting in the first place. The environments are breathtakingly stunning as you gaze out at the vast map, but upon close inspection things are not so pretty after all. Servers can get laggy as hell and become completely unplayable at times. The tutorial is really unhelpful. It almost requires having a friend there to teach you the ropes when you're new. As someone new to the game, you might even find combat a bit frustrating, being killed over and over again before you start to pick up the flow of the battle. Overall, I give Planetside 2 an 8.5. Planetside 2 is the best free-to-play game I've ever played, and even ranks in my top games of all times. I just love the epic and massive war atmosphere and feeling like I am part of a bigger picture as we try to capture a continent. If that sounds like something you would be interested in, you should check this game out. And that's all from me for today. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you for watching.